Support for Radio Friends comes from La Brunerie Financial, where they work to ensure a lifetime of financial security for people from all walks of life, from investment services to retirement plans. If you're looking for a trustworthy company that has the experience and knowledge to put your interests first, contact La Brunerie Financial, a community-based investment counseling firm since 1966. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Monday, June the 14th. We're going to talk about speaking a second language today. When do you start if you want to have the kids learn a second language? And that's important. I want to introduce you to Natalia Prats, who is a teacher at the Language Tree.
Good to have you here. Thank you for having me, Paul.
Welcome. You know, we were talking before we came on, and you work with kids as young as 2 years of age.
That's correct. We work with children as young as 2. We start them in that bilingual journey as early as we can.
Yeah. Why is it important for a child to learn a second language?
You know, you and I would not be having this conversation if my parents, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, hadn't thought, oh, well, Natalia, we should send you to a school where you could learn English. And, they put me and immersed me in a school where they taught English as a second language, even though everyone in my family spoke Spanish. I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico. And today we're sitting here and we're having this conversation. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. Languages are tools.
They are.
And we live in such a diverse world that the more languages you have, the more tools you have.
Exactly. Now, I grew up, my family is from Sicily. I was the first one born here. Uh-huh. So I grew up with Italian being spoken in our house.
Yeah.
So I guess English was my first language. Yeah. Italian was my second, even though I haven't spoken Italian for a long time now.
Yeah.
But what's sad is so many people in the United States only speak English.
Yeah.
It is important to know that second language. We're not alone in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. We're definitely not alone. And the earlier you start kids, the better. When kids are little, when they're young, those neurological airways are just open and ready to filter that language, different languages. And so I think the earlier, the better.
So how do you teach a 2-year-old to speak Spanish?
Oh, you teach them with songs, with puppets, with books, with pictures. You just stimulate all their receptors in terms of language and how you learn language. And socially, you have to socialize them speaking that second language.
Right.
And that social environment helps.
Now, you speak Spanish.
That's correct.
Do you teach other languages?
No, I just teach Spanish, yes.
Okay. So if someone is interested in having their child learn Spanish,
yeah,
it's never too early.
It's never too early. Actually, the earlier, the better.
So how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they can call us to the Language Tree. You can find us online at languagetreeimmersion.com, and you can call us at 314-471-7109.
Yeah.
We also have a program in French that's taught
you teach French also?
We have French teachers. We have teachers from our head teacher is from Canada, from Quebec, and then her assistants are from Nice, France, both of her assistants. We're losing one of our teachers. She was from Congo and Tunisia. One of them is retiring and one is going back to school.
So how many different languages are you working with?
We teach French and Spanish.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So again, if people want more information, they can give you a call at the Language Tree.
They can call us at the Language Tree. They can email us at information@languagetreeimmersion.com.
All right. We're out of time, but I want to thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you for having me, Paul. I appreciate it.
All right. Now, we're going to talk about osteoporosis. And, we think of osteoporosis many times as affecting women more than men. And Dayna Glanz is with us. She's the owner of OsteoStrong. And I think it's fair to say that you probably have more women coming into OsteoStrong than you do men. But men also have major problems with osteoporosis, right?
Yeah, yes, and one of the big issues is that, for instance, in the beginning, men are less likely to go in for health care. And they also view osteoporosis as a women's disease. But it impacts men typically later in life because their bone mass gain is accumulated at a much higher rate than women. So their bone loss is also not impacted by estrogen, like women have a decline, a very rapid decline in their 50s. But for men, it doesn't happen until later. Typically, their fractures that they have are at an older age, 65 to 70, which puts them at a higher risk for morbidity, mortality, or dying.
Yeah. I was looking at some of your statistics here, and you said each year about 80,000 men will fracture a hip.
Yes.
Now, when a man fractures a hip, he has less of a chance of recovering than a woman. Why is that?
Part of it has to do with their age, because their fractures are usually older. Women begin fracturing at a younger age, say around 50. 1 out of 2 women fracture by age 50. 1 out of 4 men may fracture by the age of 50.
And you also said here men are more likely than women to die within a year after fracturing a hip.
Yes.
Now, those are some pretty frightening statistics there.
It is. And the challenge is that men don't think they're at risk.
So what puts a man at risk?
Some of the things, the risk factors that they have are similar to women's. Alcohol, if they drink, not moderately. Any kind of, if they're on any glucose steroids, that can also impact their bones. Certain diseases, chronic diseases like diabetes, kidney disease, lung, COPD, asthma can impact bone density. Typically with asthma, you may be on a steroid for that, and that can impact.
Okay, we're almost out of time here, Dayna, but what can men do to find out if they have osteoporosis?
I recommend that they go and see their primary care physician and see if they have risk factors that would indicate getting a DEXA scan, and then go from there. But our machines really specifically is a non-pharmacological treatment for osteoporosis, and does it on 4 amazing machines.
They are amazing. Where you just sit there in the machine and you put pressure on for about 10-15 seconds, and within 10 minutes you're done, and you come in once a week for that, right?
I know. It's
and
crazy.
It builds.
It's crazy.
It builds. All right, for more information you can give the call at 573-554-5881, or on Facebook it's
Google OsteoStrong Corporate Lake or OsteoStrong Columbia.
Okay. Always a pleasure having you here, Dayna.
Great being here.
Good talking to you.
Thank you.